This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Hello viewers, you're watching Pulse of Africa. I'm Frau Lamarck for the main news. First, our top stories for today. Namibia eyes $1.7 billion boost for green hydrogen projects. Ghana agrees to accept West African deportees from US. South Africa's online retail sales set to surpass $7.4 billion in 2025. Now, the news in detail. Namibia is set to mobilize $1.7 billion to accelerate its green hydrogen ambitions. Officials announced at the Global African Hydrogen Summit in Windhoek, which attracted over 1,500 participants from 75 countries. Green Hydrogen Commissioner James Minyupe said the country is moving from planning to implementation with projects such as the Daures ammonia sulfate plant, hydrogen refueling stations, and zero-emission green iron production. Deputy Prime Minister Nantangwe Itete called for translating speech into tangible results, stressing jobs, training, and empowerment. Namibia also plans to establish the African Sustainable Industrialization Institute in Windhoek to drive policy, finance, and knowledge sharing across the continent. Ghana has agreed to receive West African nationals deported from the United States under a new bilateral deal President John Mahama announced. 14 migrants, including Nigerians and a Gambian, have already arrived, with Ghana facilitating their return home under ECOWAS's Free Movement Protocol. Mahama said the U.S. requested Ghana accept third country West African deported as part of Washington's immigration crackdown. Ghana joins Rwanda, Swatini, and South Sudan, which have also recently received deportees. Suspected Ebola cases in Congo's Kasai province have more than doubled in a week, rising from 28 to 68, with 16 deaths reported, African CDC said on Thursday. The outbreak, Congo's first in 3 years and Kasai's first in over a decade, has spread from 2 to 4 districts. Authorities and World Health Organization teams are racing to contain the outbreak by strengthening surveillance, treatment, and infection control. Local movements have been restricted and checkpoints set up to Chikapa, the provincial capital, despite challenges posed by a remote location and ongoing conflict in the eastern Congo. Officials report at least one patient showing sign of recovery. Morocco officially launched the AYA Anwar Yildiz Additive Industrial Project Wednesday in the Jorof Lasafar Industrial Zone, marking a major step in the country's industrial and food sovereignty strategy. The MAD 480 million agro-industrial and biotechnology plant developed by Anwar Invest spans 7.1 hectares and is expected to create over 500 jobs. Designed as a green project, it features a water treatment plant and 14 megawatts of installed power, 40% from green electricity. Ministers highlighted the project's role in industrialization, sustainable development, biotechnology exports, and national food security, while reinforcing Morocco's presence in global value chains. In other news, Prime Minister Mark Carney on Thursday announced the first 5 projects to undergo fast-track approval through Canada's new major project office, with a combined investment value exceeding $43 billion. The project, including large-scale energy mining and port expansion initiatives, while future plans feature a proposed high-speed rail link between Toronto and Quebec City. Launched last month, the MPO is designed to accelerate nation-building projects by streamlining regulatory assessments, approvals, and financing. The office aims to identify projects of national interest and reduce approval timelines to no more than 2 years. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro was sentenced to 27 years and 3 months in a prison after a Supreme Court panel convicted him of attempting a coup. 4 of the 5 justices on the court's panel voted to convict Bolsonaro on all 5 charges in the historic case. The conviction came when Justice Carmen Lucia and Cristiano Zanin voted to find Bolsonaro guilty of plotting a coup to remain in power after his 2022 election defeat. Their votes created a 4-to-1 majority, joining their colleagues Alexandre de Moraes and Flavino Dino, who had voted for a conviction earlier the week. The single dissenting vote came from Justice Luis Fux on Wednesday, who voted to acquit Bolsonaro of all charges.
The story of resurgent Ethiopia and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. All the time, Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Now to business news. South Africa's online retail turnover is projected to exceed 130 billion rands or $7.42 billion this year, reaching 10% of total retail sales, according to a study released Thursday by Worldwide Works with MasterCard, Pitch Payment, and Ask Africa. The sector grew 35% in 2024 to about 96 billion rand or 8% of all retail trade. Growth is led by on-demand grocery platforms from Shoprite, Pick n Pay, and Woolworths, while fashion retailers are boosting digital sales through improved platforms and customer experiences. The entry of global players such as Amazon is also expected to intensify competition in South Africa's expanding e-commerce market. The African Export-Import Bank, African Bank, has launched the African Trade and Distribution Company with a $1 billion pledge to expand trade, processing, and logistics of value-added goods across Africa. Unveiled Wednesday at the Intra-African Trade Fair in Algiers, ATDC is a joint initiative of African Bank, Arise Integrated Industrial Platform, Equitaine DMCC, and the AFCFTA Secretariat. African Bank President Professor Benedict Orama said the initiatives aim to reduce Africa's resilience on raw commodity export by building integrated value chains. Its flagship subsidiary, ATDC Minerals, announced $3 billion in deals, including oil lifting agreements with Nigeria's NNPC and Roxane Nigeria. Partnerships were also signed to supply feedstock to industrial zones, establishing digital logistic hubs at key ports, and set up national ATDCs in Zimbabwe and Nigeria. Before concluding, let us provide you with the latest update on global commodity prices. Now to weather updates. That's all for today, and thank you for watching Pulse of Africa.
This is Pulse of Africa. The face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.